Chapter 3
A
of
warm, fuzzy tale. Okay.
Even though they found a warm fuzzy every time they reached into their bag, they reached in less and less and became more and more stingy. Soon people began to notice a lack of warm fuzzies and they began to feel less warm and less fuzzy. They began to shrivel up and occasionally people would die from the lack of warm fuzzies. That's people not sharing their warm fuzzies, and that's where people go when they die, to the graveyard.
More and more people went to the witch to buy potions and salves, even though they didn't seem to work. Well, the situation was getting very serious indeed. The bad witch didn't really want the people to die, since dead people can't buy salves and potions. So a new plan was devised. There's the witch going, I'm making money, but I don't want you to die because I can't make so much money.
Everyone was given a bag that was very similar to the fuzzy bag, except this one was cold, while the fuzzy bag was warm. Inside the witch's bag were cold pricklies. These cold pricklies did not make people feel warm and fuzzy, but made them feel cold and prickly. Look, free, cold prickly bag. No purchases necessary. And that's what people were getting, but they're taking them out of the bag and they're going, ouch!
Cold and prickly. But they did prevent people's backs from shriveling up. So from then on, every time someone said, I want a warm fuzzy, people who were worried about depleting their supply would say, I can't give you a warm fuzzy, but would you like a cold prickly? Here's a cold prickly, have one of them. Sometimes two people would walk up to each other thinking they could get a warm fuzzy, but one or the other of them would change his mind and they would wind up giving each other cold pricklies. So while very few people were dying, a lot of people were still unhappy and feeling very cold and prickly.
The situation got very complicated. Warm fuzzies, which used to be thought of as free as air, became extremely valuable. This caused people to do all sorts of things in order to obtain them. Before the witch had appeared, people used to gather in groups of 3 or 4 or 5, never caring too much who was giving a warm fuzzy to whom. After the coming of the witch, people began to pair off and to reserve all their warm fuzzies for each other exclusively. People who forgot themselves and gave a fuzzy to someone else would feel guilty because they knew that their partner would probably resent the loss. People who could not find a generous partner had to buy their fuzzies, and they worked long hours to earn enough money. And they're having to go and buy them at the shop. Oh, they didn't stop for that picture.
Another thing which happened was that some people would take cold pricklies, which were limitless and freely available, coat them white and fluffy and pass them on as warm fuzzies.
So they've got the horrible pricklies, cold pricklies, and they're coating them to make them look like
warm fuzzies.
But they're still not warm
Okay.
fuzzies.
Shall we move on?
Yes.
Chapter 4 next. Bye-bye.
Bye.